that goal will serve to organize and measure the best.
Adaptable, all capital, label radical yet rational. A tactical approach is palpable if this animal is fallible, but that conclusion is laughable. So with for all detachable from the mandible, you see it now.
All right, everyone, welcome to World Blockchain Roundtable. We are live. Yes, we are live. Make sure I click the button. Welcome to the 156th episode of the World Blockchain Roundtable. Our hosts for today are I am.
Howdy,
I'm for I'm. Greg from Rivet. Thanks for joining. Lisa from the Mighty Lair. Litecoin Lisa Mighty Davis, right?
All the things. Good morning.
All the things. And Sean should be here. He did say he was going to be here. Maybe we give him a live wake-up call. He's awake, but we can pretend like he wasn't, right? And I'm Joe, founder architect of Dragon Chain, Entercaria. And how did last week's show go? I wasn't here. Thanks for.
It was fun. I enjoyed it.
It's probably better.
It was a really good one. What's right and wrong with blockchain and crypto?
Right on. Did Lisa mute any mics? Was there any need?
I did not swing the hammer.
Darn it,
it was not needed. Everyone was a perfect lady and gentleman. So
right on. I got to watch.
I think I offended her. I called her the substitute teacher.
That's awesome. That is great. That is great.
As long as it's not a government school, I'm okay with that. I'm a homeschool substitute teacher. Yeah.
Man. Okay, so first quick update on the WBRT layer ownership tokens from last week's episode. Every host from last week will receive 166 lot. Every topic contributor, 83 lot. Last week's themes were nominated by I am, who will receive 83 lot. And these tokens come with free edits, governance votes, passive income in the layer as things are happening. And let's see here, another update. We have, and I actually don't have it open. I'm gonna put it up here right now. We have a DAO vote. Oh, did I click on the wrong thing? I think I clicked on the wrong thing. Yes. 1 second, guys. Here we go. Here we go. I will present it here. I closed the tab while it was still open. It is this one, the June theme suggestions. So make sure that you get in there.
You're not showing it.
Shoot. Make sure you make sure that you get some suggestions in. The first one here, ETHgate. That would be awesome. I'm going to put that one up. Free Roger, obviously. That would be a great one.
That's an update. Yeah, Free Roger update.
Right on. A positive theme, how blockchain is solving real world problems. That's a great one. Medium of exchange. What happens to blockchains when CBDCs become the medium of exchange? All great ones. These would be great. And I think the other ones will still pop up. So these will roll into maybe the last ones on there. Either way, we'll see how it goes. So good stuff. And this week we have how to stay safe from scammers in a bull run. So I won't get down to the questions yet, but this should be a good one. This is a very important one. We used to do it when the World Blockchain Roundtable began. It was actually Blockchain Seattle. And quite a bit of the discussions were revolving around this topic because, we lived through a few bull runs, and there was, obviously a ton of phishing scams, but also even regular scams in the crypto space. I think it was when BitConnect was around.
I was getting ready to say, who remembers BitConnect?
Oh my God! Oh, speaking of which, Sean's here. He's gonna remind us about BitConnect. What do you remember about BitConnect, Sean?
Carlos Mata, Trayvon James.
Oh, Trayvon James.
I was actually watching YouTube when the kid, the kid one, he was like blah 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 blah, money, make money, blah blah blah. Your public address, I don't know what the hell that is, but and I was like, what did he just say? He didn't know it's your public key. I don't know what that is. And I was like, what? Yeah. Like 17-year-old or 16-year-old, remember him?
I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember.
He was like one of the biggest ones.
Huh.
But he was a kid. So he
Wow.
like his parents made him shut down his channel and stuff
I vaguely remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then
That's
Trevor
interesting.
James stalked me. It was the creepiest thing.
What?
Yeah, because I like never knew him. I had like 1,000 subscribers. I was like nobody, and I started started following me on my channel. I told like my friends, I was like Trevon James. Like it's a fake account, yeah. And then I started in Instagram. One of the first people, Trevon James, and I was like, yeah. It was very weird. Started following all my stuff. It was odd.
I remember watching Trevon James when he quit his job and he was going to do crypto full time. And he looked like he worked at a mall, and he used to do the in-car driving, updates in the morning before we go to work. I remember that.
Yeah.
Why were there so many of those back then? I remember watching
he invented that.
Stuff. They were really
now there's just there's like YouTube, commercials or just some guy driving,
Yeah.
But I remember right after he was like delivering pizza for Domino's.
Oh, really?
I remember when we did open source money. The guys that were doing the filming told me that they liked to do interviews with the subject driving because it relaxed them. Like for some reason, they would be paying attention to driving and then just answer questions. And so for some reason it worked well. I'm like, and probably moving stuff in the background. I don't know. Who knows?
That works with teenagers as well. Just if any parents out there,
really?
if you need to have a calm, it's also not confrontational. So you're not face to face with someone. So it's less threatening. You're sitting parallel to them and you're just having a conversation as you're looking out the front window.
Maybe
there is some psychology behind it.
Huh. Maybe we should just have this show entirely with all of us in our own cars. Driving around aimlessly.
I don't want to drive for 2 hours with the price of gas what it is right now.
That's a good point. It's a good point. Okay, let's see here. Anything to start with before we go straight to questions? What do you guys think? There's so much going on. We current events at the end. So should I just go in?
Yeah, I
Yes.
want to make sure we talk about what Trump said he's going to bring back.
What's he going to bring back? I'll refresh these.
It's the most revolutionary thing he's ever said.
Oh, really? Okay, we'll make sure. All right, take note. We'll make sure we cover it because I don't even know what you're talking about. That's good. That's a good thing. Okay. First up, I am for I am. Even scammers go to the crypto market. This sounds familiar. Okay. Quote: all publicity is good publicity. Crypto scammers aren't all bad. Even the scammers grow the market, correct? Can you change my mind? I just want to ask this to create arguments. LOL. That sounds familiar too. So, what do you guys think?
No, I don't think so.
God love the scammers.
We used to say, "Oh,
scammers unite."
Oh, it's finally going to a bull market. Bear market's over. The scammers are coming back. But I think that they've hurt the growth of crypto so much, and they've been they've moved. I mean, when you talk about scammers, it's not, hey man, which so many people. There was this scam going on. I was so confused, and so I got hit with one of the scammers. And I was like, look, man, tell me how this works. I don't understand. How do you make money? And then they explained, no, it's not a scam. You just go on Cash App and buy like $1,000 worth of Bitcoin. Then you send it to this accumulator address, and then you get back like $5,000. I was like, oh, you get people to buy crypto and send it to your address. That makes sense. Because I couldn't get it. And then I couldn't get why my friends were perpetrating the scam. I'm making the scam. That would do videos. I mean, people I've known for like 40 years, 30 years. They'd be walking through the grocery store. Look, I'm telling y'all, you got to get on this Bitcoin thing. I'm being honest. You know, I paid my bills the past 2 months with this. I made $8,000 like in 45 minutes, and I made $10,000 in like an hour the next day. And I'm like, why are you know? And then I find out it's a very good scam. They get control of their Facebook, they get control of their social medias, and they say, hey, you make a video saying this, and we'll give you back your social media accounts.
Oof,
And
What? Oh my God.
that's crazy.
but it was rampant. I mean, I had friends that I was like, "What the fuck are you doing? This is a scam. How are you?" And then they would message me, "No, it's not a scam." And then I'd see them. They're like, "Oh yeah, you know, those people stole my social media accounts. They have my Instagram, they have my Facebook, they have my bank information because it was connected to it. They put my account negative, you know, like $400, and they said they wouldn't give it back unless I made these videos. And they don't know what the hell. They don't know what they're going to do with it. You know what I mean? They could have told them to like send them a picture of your tits, and they were like, "For sure, just give me my accounts back." You know?
I'll pay somebody to take my Facebook account. That's like, jeez.
But everything from little scammers to FTX. You know what I mean? It's all it's hurt because now when you say scammers, that's all anyone's heard. Like there's people like never heard of Bitcoin until they heard of Sam Bankman-Fried. You know, so
until they lost their money to him,
or they just heard about it's all a scam.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it went from being silly stuff hurting us, like there's child porn on this blockchain, so if you use Bitcoin, you're connected, to it. It went from like that to like this, where it's known for scammers. All the cool things that NFTs can do, nobody has a clue. And now there's a barrier to educating them because of everything with NFTs,
Yep. What do you think, Greg?
That makes me think of, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Greg.
You go ahead.
Well, I think we do have to be a little bit judicious with the term scammer, right? Because to a certain degree, this is a term that can be thrown around to target things that are legitimate, right? That that makes it so that the sort of aggressive deriding of scammer, when scams are indeed scams, also facilitate the derision against legitimate projects as scams, right? Like, what's the difference between a scam to somebody who believes in a multi-chain future and a scam to someone who's a Bitcoin maxi? To a Bitcoin maxi, anything but Bitcoin is a scam, right? And they don't care what the details are. So I don't like the idea of crusades against scammers, and I kind of in this respect agree with the idea that crypto scammers aren't all bad, because depending on who you are, you're going to define scammer a little differently. And if you're trying to tell me that Dragon Chain's a scam because it's not Bitcoin, then I'm not going to agree with you, right?
Yeah, but those people are already in the market, Greg. The question is growing the market. So
growing the market. A lot of people who are in Normieville only hear Bitcoin and think all of crypto, right? So if someone who's into Bitcoin points at a crypto project and says scam, then they're going to believe it, or at least they're going to be suspicious. A certain percentage are going to agree with it. So I'm disinclined to label scams as scams until we're 100% sure that this is something that's literally just out there to steal people's money. The definition of scam is a little slippery. So crusades against scamming internally in the community are counterproductive publicity-wise. By this argument. Now, I'm not saying that that's true in every case. I'm just posing a counter argument so that there's another side to this discussion.
Yep. Iam.
Well, I was trying to be devil's advocate with this question. Just like they say, all publicity is good publicity. It certainly attracted more people into the crypto space, which ultimately, yes, got burned, and some of them lost a horrific amount, if not all. And some of them were able to siphon some of it off and put it towards good projects and grow their stack. So that happened. Um, um, I don't like it that it gave the media attention, or gave the media more ammunition, I should say, on the whole cryptocurrency space. Because it hurt the good projects as well. It shrunk the investment potential of the market as well because of all the scammers. So that certainly hurt. Greg nailed it on the head when he said that not all projects are scams, but might be labeled as such. And your hardcore, small block Bitcoiners did just that. They called everything a scam, with the exception of Bitcoin. And obviously that was wrong. So yes, it definitely grew the market and has grown the market. And in the bull run, it will continue to grow the market. I think we have to keep a little bit of an open mind here, in that it proves that in many cases, law enforcement didn't step in and close down these scammers. We, as knowledgeable in this space, were able to call them out and shrink their ability to, prey on the weak and grow their stack. So it was, and it still is a Wild West, like they say. But it's up to all of us to point these scammers out after we have verified that they have, scammed or are scamming, or present, both sides of the coin, and let them fight it out in the public domain.
Yep.
I think a big problem with that is law enforcement, like you said. It's like gun laws. Every time there's something, we need more gun laws, and it's like, no, this guy killed someone. That's like, there's already all these laws. If we enforce the laws that we have, I had a ridiculous of money stole from me from crypto.com. Just a horrendous, huge amount of money. And this is like years ago when they first started out, and there was nothing I could do. I was alone. If I called my local police department and said, "Hey, someone stole my money," I would have been on the phone for an hour or so explaining what crypto is, how it's something, how they did it, and then they would probably be like, I don't know, and they have internet. Like a friend of mine had like her nudes and stuff all put on the internet, and she called the police. They had a detective that knew exactly what to do, shut down the websites, all this stuff, because that's like, they know what to do. But when it comes to crypto, nobody had any idea. There was nothing you could do. And there's laws. Someone stole something from me. My father-in-law was a state trooper, and he told me this story one time, and it was, this guy called the police. So he was out in the country, so the state troopers went out there, and the dude had just pits of rattlesnakes, like thousands and thousands of rattlesnakes just in these deep pits. And he sold the venom to the pharmaceutical industry for anti-venom and everything. But there was like a crop, and someone stole his rattlesnakes. So, and he was talking about how they had to figure out how to put like a dollar value on it to know what even was a charge with, or what the investigation was, because it's not like a normal thing. Someone stole his horse. Someone stole
precedent, like with dairy cows, probably.
Yeah,
dairy cows probably are similar.
What it would be, what the cost was, what the valuation was. But if I called, say, hey, my magic internet money was taken, someone broke it into my email, and then in my opinion, it was a little bit weird how nobody knew my pass key except for crypto.com. That's it, and me. Never wrote it down, never put it anywhere. So there was nothing I could do. And I think that's something that hurt us very much. There should have been more education on the law side, to where, because if you knew what to do and you have a good police department, then they could follow up, and they would be able to combat a lot of the scammers.
Yep. Lisa.
I think this points back to part of our discussion last week that Sean brought up a really good point, that one of the bad things was hopefully I can tie this all together really quick. But basically that like crypto was the red pill or the orange pill, whatever, for so many people, because it was, you were being awakened on how corrupt our current financial system is, and you were fleeing to safety in cryptocurrency where you held it in your possession. Well, when these scammer stories come out, that makes it not a safe place to go. And so that drive to leave the old system and go to the new system it adds a layer of fear, because you need that education. Once again, that we have to be able to take personal responsibility, and so many people don't want to. I mean, even before we got started, Joe, we were talking about people just want to be able to call American Express and reverse the charge, and you can't do that. You can't have a charge back in cryptocurrency. And so those kind of things I think does really hurt the adoption and the whole ecosystem of crypto.
You said something last week that really kind of hit, that normies are kind of waking up, and they're hurt almost.
Yeah.
Because they're like, hey, we trusted our bank, and we've always been told to put your money in the bank, and you trust the bank and they'll take care of it. And when just years ago, when I talked about fractional reserve, people were like, no way. Like, they'd have to look it up. And now it's not even fractional reserve. But I was like, dude, your bank only has to keep like 10% of your deposit. They 11% of everybody.
And you're now a liability to them, because if you ever want your money back.
Yeah. Because my people are like, no way. It's like, yeah, 11% of everybody tries to take the money out. It's going to be short.
Yep.
Right. That you essentially, when you deposit your money, lose your money and get an IOU back.
And it's interesting as an engineer. I mean, this is a very definite thing it's different. Crypto world versus what most people have grown up with. With their money, that most people don't store a huge amount of cash or value in their house. In the old days, they did. You'd have precious metals, you'd have coin, right? You'd have to keep it safe somehow. And it's very interesting that it led to this situation where, something goes wrong, I can always get my money back. Credit cards aren't secure at all, and when someone steals your credit card number because you ordered a burger somewhere, and then they order a few $1,000s worth of shoes, you can get it back. With crypto, it's different, and it's very much, as an engineer, very much like going to Linux from Windows, right? That when you delete something, there is now, right? Unfortunately, there is now a recycle bin on most Linux operating systems as well. But generally, if you're in a command line and you delete something, guess what? It's gone, right? And yes, you could take the drive in, you could potentially recover a file, but it's very interesting that crypto is like that. And I think the biggest thing to think about this with and this might be on every question, the fact that education is probably the most important thing. If you have a friend who's getting into crypto, you have to make sure that they understand, hey, look, a lot can go wrong. You have to be very careful, but I can help you walk through. We can, and they can learn a lot. And I've done that for so many people. And I've had a few people that I knew that, like a guy who ran a concrete company who retired because, he was asking me, he found out I was in this industry, and he was asking me what I thought. And I said, well, probably now's a good time, but be careful. And, we both had this talk talk that when Bitcoin hits 20,000, because I think he bought it at 6,000 something. When it hits 20,000, make sure we talk so I can show you how to get it. I gave him a hardware wallet, right? Show you how to get it onto a hardware wallet safely and stow it away. And I've had people who've had their offices broken into that freaked me out because I knew they had holdings and they were there and they had their hardware wallets there. But they said, nope, don't worry about it. Followed all of your advice. Everything was kept secure. All the key phrases were sound. And it's super important. I mean, we had people, and particularly you think about phishing scams and things like that. We had people in 2016 that would come in and break into our open source project Slack and try to claim they were me or somebody else on the team, and put out, hey, we're selling all this stuff, and nobody ever got any money out of our community because our community always knew. And this is the thing, I wish that more crypto projects were diligent about this, but the technology itself contains everything you need to prevent so many of these attacks that if you say, look, our project will never announce anything for sale unless it's signed by this address, and then you need to do out of band, publish that address in multiple places so people can always check, right? And show them how to check, a signature, because there are ways to fake that too. Craig Wright, but either way, it's an interesting thing, and I wish more projects did that. Because that would be the biggest thing needed. And, here we're about to, hopefully go into another bull run. And yet so many projects don't care, I guess. It's very weird.
Yeah.
So
it's also weird when you work on a project and you're part of the, the team. I can't tell you how many times, and I almost got, I want to scam a scammer so bad. And I've come close like so many times where they're about to send me like 0.2 Bitcoin, or like 0.1 Bitcoin, because they'll make a fake telegram of the CEO of someone on the team, and they'll message me, hey, I don't have my hardware wallet. I can get it listed. We're trying to get us listed on KuCoin. I got a representative here. We're out, for drinks. But I need 2 Bitcoin. And need you to send it to me just so that I said, I don't have my hardware wallet, so I can't give it to him. But this will get us listed on KuCoin or on Binance or whatever. We can get this done this week. And I'm like, look, man, the last time when you killed that hooker in Bali and I had to pay the police, you told me to not send you any more money until you did this. I was like, oh, so you send me 0.1 Bitcoin, and then I can I just make stuff up. It can't release the funds unless 1 Bitcoin is deposited. Then that allows me to get to the 4 Bitcoin that are in there. Just
you have to have that 0.1 Bitcoin to pay the fee.
Yeah, you got to do that. As part of the triple signature. That has to be one of the signatures of the triple signature. And we had
this one where we've had some where they're pretty.
It's an interesting idea for security in and of itself, isn't it? A transaction as a signature.
Yes, we've done that before. No, we've had obviously the funny ones where they with bad grammar will pretend like they're the CTO saying, I need so many sent right away, whatever. But we had one, and by the way, this is a common pattern that kind of blows me away that this could possibly work. But all they need is 1 out of 50, and they're in profit when they do this. That they will get someone to come and meet in person, right? And they will essentially want you to put some crypto into a wallet. We'll share the wallet. Here are the keys, right? And they'll have you send crypto into this wallet to prove that you have. And it none of it makes a damn bit of sense. It's just crazy.
None of it makes sense. I don't know if it happened with y'all, but here, like locally, years ago, we had problems with people selling like the little Bitcoin, like on Craigslist and stuff, for like $2,000. People will be like, I got some Bitcoin, but I need to get rid of it really quick. Selling Bitcoins for 2,000 and it's worth 6. So people who go meet at Walmart give $2,000 and they get the little, $5 coin they were giving them, and I gave those out as gifts, and everyone's like, dude, it's worth like $10,000, man. It's like, no, that's just a coin, dude. That's like a sobriety coin for money.
I got a kind of a funny story, and I think it's really ironic. I was telling a friend about crypto. It was back in 2017. It was about Bitcoin, and he said, "What? It's going to cost me how much to send it from one wallet to another? I can do a wire, a bank wire for cheaper." He said, "High fees? That's a scam." And I kind of thought that was hilarious. It was an outside looking in kind of perspective, right?
Yeah.
And the
That's
Bitcoin
true.
fees were too high, and he was calling it a scam, not because of any of the principles that Bitcoin had, but because of the fees associated with it.
Right.
Oh, someone's making a killing with these fees. It's
Yeah.
got to be a scam because look at these
That's-
high fees.
That's a conversation for the ETHgate. If you want to have that conversation, go vote on Den Social for ETHgate to be one
There
of
you go.
our
There you go.
There you go. Okay.
topics.
Next, did I vote on that? Did I vote? No, I did not vote. Let me vote on that. That was a good question. All right. Did I
Great.
tag it? I did not even tag it. Look at that. I need to get better at
No.
this. All right. Day Rocks. Next question. How can we fight scammers more effectively? So, Lisa, you start this one.
I mean, especially just after our conversation, it sounds like education is just really needed. People have to make a choice to be personally responsible for themselves, and until they decide to do that, I don't think you can do it for them.
And I wanted to say something about that. I keep looking at my camera where it used to be. The world, and it's one of those things, man, where you don't understand why something is going on until like later when it comes to fruition. You're like, oh, now it makes sense what those elites were doing. I could see the plan now, 5 years later, 10 years later. But at the time, you're like, this is so stupid. The dumbing down of everyone, so making it that taking responsibility for stuff is foreign, and you don't want that.
Now they've all been empowered to be victims.
Yeah, it's like the whole thing. And when it comes to crypto, this is the antithesis of all that. It's like, look, man, you have all the power, but you have all the responsibility, and if you screw up, you screw up. And greed is one of the first thing you have to, because so many people that I know that have common sense, when they tell me what this scam is, and I'm like, look, man, and I'll just repeat what you said. They're like, yeah, but man, you get 8 times your money, and then it's like, it's almost, I'm willing to gamble it, and then afterwards you're like, oh, I got scammed. It's like you knew that wasn't real. You knew there's just someone could throw a word at you and made the Bitcoin tumbler, the multiplier. I was like, what do you? How does it multiply? You didn't ask that question. It's like, I don't understand it. I said, you understand that you put $10 in and you get $20 out in a couple hours or minutes? I was like, how does it multiply? Do the Bitcoins have sex and like have a bunch of babies? You don't, it's not, you have to take responsibility for it. So education is the big thing, but also the level of greed in just human society, that needs to be addressed too. You call the love and number go up or whatever, but that is a big part of it.
Yep. Positive and negative.
Yep.
Who else wants to answer this one?
I think something. I think something people can do to effectively avoid scams is to develop trusted sources, right? Like if you're watching this show, you know that you can talk to any of us and we would be able to tell you what looks legit and what doesn't look legit. We won't necessarily always be right, but having a trusted network of people that you can go to who are in the know, who you can come talk to before you do anything that looks novel, right? If someone is saying to you, you got 5 minutes to do this, then you're already looking at a scam, right? But if you've got time to think about it, a smart scammer will give you time to think about it. Then go to those trusted sources, ask them what they think, find somebody who isn't going to screw you over, who's not interested, and ask them about it. I think that's one of the ways that and by the way, I offer that service freely, so anybody who's watching who wants to be sure that they're not about to get hosed, you're welcome to reach out to me. I will help, and I think anybody in the community who wants to see it grow would do the same. So
the trusted sources is a little scary, because smart scammers, they make the long con. I remember this platform. Me and Lee both talked about it. They were the oldest before DeFi. It was DeFi-ish. It was arbitrage trading and other. It was like a percent a day. They were around for a year and a half, a year and like 3 months. And it was so weird because they were growing slowly. We were making, money on not tons and tons, but we had like a couple $1,000s in it. And Lee said, man, I looked at their accounts. They have 11 million in one account, 22 million in the other account. And it hit 25 million in one account and like 15 in the other. And he goes, this thing is growing huge. The next day, everything was gone. And they were around for a year plus. I've had friends of mine who asked me, hey man, you heard about this Ethereum? It was something. I was like, no, what is it? And it's like, oh, everyone at church is doing it. Right. You just put in like $25 or $100. And this happens and that. I was like, that doesn't happen, man. It was like the Mission Impossible thing we're talking about. There's like a bar going across, and we can only cancel this transaction for the next 30 seconds. 29, 20. That's what people are shown, and also like in movies, like the computer talks, everything that happens, it like says what it's doing. Computers don't do that, but like people see it in movies and think that that's how it works, and then scammers.
That horrible Mission Impossible scene that you're talking about, made me want to shut the movie off. That and how bad it was getting AI, like it just had AI wrong. It was just like I could see that whoever was behind that thing was definitely among the same group that was funding like CIA connections to journalism, because it was just like FUD. It was ridiculous.
Like 90% of people are like, oh, that's how that works.
My point on this whole question, I think it's up to all of us, especially those in the know, especially those who have, say, a YouTube channel or frequent, postings on X or whatever, or here on din.social, is to call them out. We who have some knowledge and some experience in this industry need to call them out. Consumer Reports was created. Why? Because consumers were getting burned, and scammers have been around forever. Back in the Wild West days, when we're going to build a railroad through your town, and everyone better buy up some land real quick because
the Simpsons monorail, right?
Yeah, and the railroad was never going to go through that town, but everyone had a big quick land grab, and it was they had rode off to the next town to do the same scam. So scammers have been there forever, and they'll always be there. There's unfortunately people with no ethics, and they're immoral, and it's up to us, all of us who have some knowledge in this space, to call them out or question it, or which is part of what Lisa said, education. Right? We all have to kind of do our part. It is Wild West out there, but let's law enforcement's never going to catch up to this technology. I don't think so. And all they're going to do is just put a blanket over all of it and try to kill all of it in the betterment of society. You know, by killing the scammers, they're going to kill everything or try to, right? So it's up to us to be vocal about it, call them out or question them. You know, some would be a good show. Would be one of those like, you know, scammer or not, come state your case. And someone who is extremely knowledgeable can argue and hash them out, and at the end reach a verdict. Okay, it appears to not be a scam.
Yeah,
there's some
topic suggestions are open right now, man. Go put them into the show, and we'll do a whole show on whether or not something is a scam.
Yeah.
But like what I was saying, the greed level, you know, in the world, it goes along with what you just said. Consumer Reports. I bet you people under 40 don't even know what it is. You know, and it used to be something that was important. It was, you know, buyer beware. Even back, you always took some responsibility. I really should have looked into this more. You know, even if you bought a copy of Consumer Reports just before you bought a stereo or before you bought, you know, made a big purchase, it was part of your doing your own research. You know, and if you walked in and just, I'm going to trust the car salesman to tell me the truth and do what's best for me, then no, you're going to get hosed. You're going to get the undercoating twice. I mean,
it is important to do to have objective education about the fundamentals, right? I mean, it's a very, very abstract technology. It's all virtual. It's new to a lot of people because of that. I can't hold it, you're saying, right? I can't, you know, but there are very, very clear, fundamental, objective principles involved that you can teach them why it matters and, you know, what matters about it. And if they see something novel, they can say, that looks cool. It does this. They can talk to their friends about it, and their friends are like, no, look, it's, you know, it's really this, or, you know, and, you know, all of those
if
things
it violates those principles,
Yeah,
then you're looking at something that should raise red flags.
And you think about it, any project, one of you already said this, that leverages the how do I say it, like a FOMO or an emotional response related to greed is going to be a candidate for that might be a scam. But and the one of the big issues we have is tribalism, because many projects don't want competition from others, so they will call it a scam, which means, well, you know, if a real project is called a scam, it really hurts many real projects, and it basically levels up all the actual scams. So it makes it really rough, and there are countless big, especially Bitcoin maximalist accounts on X and on you know, even on mainstream media that somewhat, you know, fit into that camp, where then it's mostly because, hey, here's one other thing you can look at. And, you know, I say this is a little bit biased, I will admit, but if you look at a project and it's full of bankers, it's probably a scam. You know, frankly, it's like if your project is run by someone who came out of Goldman Sachs, it might very well be a scam, because they don't actually know what the tech is that they're working with. They're you know, it might make money. You know, plenty of scams do make money. And
if you can't find details about a project that are so technical as to be alarmingly obfuscatory, like if you look for instance, smart contract code on a block explorer, and you don't see anything but a token contract, you know, just a basic token contract. And if you look on block explorers now, they have things like simple scam checks, where you can look at a checklist and see, okay, this allows, or this one doesn't have any whitelist or blacklist functions. Whitelist and blacklist functions are how they like make it so that you can buy but you can't sell. Things like that.
That's one more thing too. There are plenty of resources. You know, watch CoffeeZilla. You know, I haven't watched it in months and months, but even if you look back at the history, you can get a very clear pattern with most of the. You know, you have a celebrity influencer, right? And then you have, some group that is, anyway, there's so many of these patterns that it's pretty obvious when they happen. Anyway, and there are a bunch of other accounts on Twitter that,
One other red flag: if someone, let's say like a Sam Bankman fraud, happened to visit the SEC frequently and talk with Gensler direct on numerous occasions, that might be kind of fraud, scammer.
It's a good point.
Number of conversations with U.S. public officials. Yeah, that would be a good sign that you're looking at the scam.
I think, frankly, probably the most well-financed scams that have happened have all been directly connected to the SEC. Oddly enough, it's like that's an
don't go buying any Prometheum coins.
Eastgate.
It's kind of crazy, right? Okay, next question, right? Great question, Darox. Another question from Darox. What safety measures should we take to protect ourselves from fraud? What do you guys think? Who wants to start?
I'll go.
Go ahead.
Sean kind of touched on it. The get rich quick and getting yourself caught up in the emotions. Your safety measure here is, I'm not going to get emotional. Yes. Maybe even if I bought into a scam and I got in early and I'm in profit, take your profits. You could get a rug pull. Rug pull just means that all the money has gotten pulled out real quick before you could pull yours out, or the code got locked up, so now it becomes a honeypot or a honey trap. A honey trap means that you can buy but you can't sell, and that's been put into the code. That's called honeypots. That's safety measures is doing your research. Safety measures is don't give away your personal information. Do those kind of safety measures that you're already doing in other parts of your life. You're not going to buy a car from a stranger that you haven't sight and seen, or these kinds of things. So whatever, test drove, whatever, something like that. You're going to want to use just common sense. Common sense is a safety measure.
I was going to say the same thing. Common sense is such a huge thing. There's this new, it's new. It is new. So I'm hit every day with projects that are like, hey man, do a video on us and go over the project, and we'll bring you in our coal round. And it's like, we used to have people like, hey man, we'll give you money to do a review. Now they're like, hey man, do a review and we'll take your money. Give us some money. I'm like, what? Yeah, we'll let you in before we do. It's like after the seed round, after the private stuff, before the public sale, and you get it for like half off. So then when it, as soon as the token generation happens, as soon as it lists, you can double, triple, quad your money. And I'm always like, no, but they send you like this stuff like, look at these people that are involved, like that looks like a good project. So sometimes I'll put in some money, and it's always a limited amount, like $1,000 or $1,200 or whatever. And then and then they'll tell you, I'm like, no, I don't want to. Like, but the past three, this one 50x, this one 22x, this one 9x. The last three, all like made tons of money. I was like, yeah, but no thanks. But so there is. It's hard. My point is that it's hard to use that common sense when they can put that up there.
The other safety measure to make sure you got the right address. Go to the original site, copy that address, copy and paste it. Someone's going to trick you with the same name but a different address. Send your money here to buy this coin, this token.
Also, they can change the address though.
True.
I mean, this happened like 2 weeks ago. where it was one project was like, here's the address, and then like a week before the launch, they changed the address, and I say this is the new address to
projects need to be careful.
this is a new address to put into
And
Pancake Swap when you buy.
a lot of people will only check the first four and the last four, and a lot of interfaces will only show the first four and the last four of an address. And we just had a friend that lost a couple of grand because somebody got the first and the last four matched, and he sent it off. And
it is very easy to specify an address that isn't currently used and create a contract there in advance. So you can, for instance, get the first four to match and mix up the middle and set up a contract at that address based on some of the functionality already built into most EVM based chains dev kits, right? Like you can do it, right? So you got to watch out for that. I think the key safety measure that I would recommend is never putting in anywhere near as much as you can afford to lose, right? Like look at what you can afford to lose, cut that into a hundredth, right? Or a tenth. If you're playing with small numbers, and never put in more than that, because if you get scammed on something you can lose, you can write that off as lesson learned, right? But if you put in right up to the edge of what you can afford to lose, all your investment play money is gone, and you lose all of it, or worst case you put in way more than you can afford to lose, and you're out something that hurts your life. Make sure that if you're playing with speculation, that you speculate only on money that you can afford to throw away. Like if I can't put this in the trash right now, if I can't send this to the zero address, and be okay, then you're already over that line. That's the best safety measure is never put in more than you can afford to lose.
I want to speak on just for 1 second, just some like really beginner basic tools or things to do to not avoid or to avoid. Don't ever, ever, ever click on a link that is sent to you. If you need to go to one of the websites to transact or check on anything, you go to that original website. You don't click on a link or, we just got some emails this last week telling us to go to that we needed to update our account at a certain DEX or whatever. And it was a scam. It was a phishing scam,
right.
So
they
just
hit
some
you
of
with
those
the
really
authorize
basic,
the account thing. The pop-up
right.
to authorize an account will happen over and over and over again, and you'll try to hit cancel, and
scammers exist in every industry. And so they're the same people that were stealing people's credit card information. Now they're like, oh wait, we can use these same systems. So think about those kind of things too. Just some real basic things.
I get your Coinbase account has been locked down. You need to log in to update your information. And if that's true, then just go to the Coinbase app. First off, you open up the actual email address and look and see, and then it's at Coinbase.ru x4. It's not.
There's like a swastika in it.
Yeah,
even if it's a friend or family.
Your package is on the way by UPS. Just track it. That's
a really weird one.
Those are weird ones.
I can see old people falling for that.
There are some, by the way, some of the shipping ones are, if I understand correctly, they are related to someone else was scammed, but a shipment has to go out in order for the scam to work. And so you'll get like a pack of seeds or something weird. I'm like, what the hell is this? One of the things that's out of band, one of the very, very simple things, somebody's messaging you and it's at all suspicious. You don't even need to say anything over there. You can go and basically text them or call them directly or do something else, because that's happening a lot apparently as well, where people are, I guess it's normal enough for a friend to tell them something like this, but when they ask them out of band, then they're like, "What are you talking about? That's not me.
Right.
I'm not saying that." So, that's a very simple one. And then for the emotion, read some Epictetus or Seneca or something. Just like control your emotions, and you'll be better off with everything,
Yep.
right? So, okay, let's see here. Next question, Dayrux. How do you know that a particular project is probably a scam? What do you guys think? I've already said mine. It's like Goldman Sachs. Any connection to Goldman Sachs and scam.
I second that.
One of the biggest tells, I think, is ultra micro cap, right? Like if you can spend 0.001 ETH in exchange for 5 million of the token they're trying to get you to buy, then there's decent odds that you're dealing with something that's just a scam. Like there are meme coins that are like that, and some of them are just legitimate meme coins where the goal is to hype it up and then dump it when it's high if you get in early. You don't see a lot of tokens that that go for some fractional unit of the dollar you could pay for in cash with down to change, right? Like if it's 50 cents per unit or even $1 or $2 per unit, you're less likely to be dealing with a scam than you are if it's really micro cap and you can get millions of them for a fraction of your money, because you start to get this sort of greed FOMO when you see those things. Like if this thing goes up to even 1/1,000,000th of a cent, then I've already made $100,000 if I dump in $1,000 right now. Then you're more likely to be dealing with a scam, because they exploit that greed multiple.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Remember the thing.
Here's a big one that's changed over time, and this is to you guys big time, because your lives have changed. If the team is not doxxed, it's a huge red flag now. And it used to be like 3 years ago, well, I work for IBM and he works for, Cisco, and we're not really supposed to have moonlight jobs. So that's why we don't like that. Screw you. You can't do it anymore. You cannot.
Well, anons can be independently verified without revealing their identity too.
Yeah. I was going to get ready to push back just a little bit. Satoshi wasn't doxxed.
Yeah, as I said, it's changed over the past few years.
Sure. And the other side of it is, I think privacy coins, anything that can provide privacy transactions is going to get even the big boot, shall we say, coming down hard on them. And so developers that are attached, and now, with Tornado Cash and Roger Ver, and what was the other one? Samurai, that has put a lot of people like, I don't want to end up in that legal battle, because even though they believe that code is free speech, they're playing in an unfair court. So I'm going to give a little pushback on that, just because my humble opinion, for us to win this war, we're going to need more privacy, and we're going to need our devs to remain private and hidden.
Can I jump in on that? Because I think it's super important to think about it in this way. And this might be unpopular, right? But the quickest way to avoid a scam and or to know, and maybe it doesn't mean that a project is a scam, but and this is maybe, this is biased, I apologize, but if you look at a project and you are interested in it for the speculative value increase of it, that might be a scam. I mean, it's an interesting thing, because if a team is not doxxed, but is providing a working product that you're not buying into because you want to make money, you're buying into because you want to use it, it's not a scam. It's like that's one,
true.
and
that's very
maybe
true.
the opposite. It's like that's a very interesting point. That
visible active utility is a real a strong indicator of not scam. So if you want to be sure you're not getting scammed, go for utility. That's a very good point.
That's an interesting one. All right,
honestly, guys, I'm not done. Because
sorry, Jeff.
You're wrong. Because the utility is faked. It's all BS.
Well, I mean, utility you can actually use, like you can go on den.social and see
talk
that.
about what they're going to do. Unless they've done something,
Right.
You can't trust it anymore. You can't trust it anymore. That's how it's like women on college campuses can't walk at night. I mean, it's because of everything that's happened, and because we haven't policed ourselves as well as we should over the past few years. It's such a big thing. Also, you have to check out the community, and you have to not. You can't do cursory shit. You can't say, "Oh, they're audited by CERT-K." You have to click on it, look at the damn audit, and see, "Oh, wow, they have like 50 things wrong with it." You can't just look and see that they have one.
The audit says you can buy these but can't sell them. Oh shit!
You go to their Twitter and you have to look and see. Oh, they got 50,000, Twitter followers, but 4 likes, but 1 comment. You have to go through everything and look at everything and see. Go to their Telegram. 100,000 people in their Telegram. No one's talking.
What replies are blocked?
Pretty obvious.
You have to look at all those aspects of it.
Good point.
Do your own research. You have to do those things, because if all that stuff is faked or some of the stuff is faked, that's it. Then they're faking.
Right.
So
legit projects always let you into the community and let you be a part of it before you buy in.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. So if you can't join it without having a token to get past the token gate, then you're already looking at a problem.
Code audits were a big part of it. Now that's gotten kind of scammy, unfortunately, but you would send off your code to a particular group that would, tell you where the holes were in the code, and then you would, communities would post their code and say, we were audited by so and so, and we got this, and da 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 da. That was always a good thing. The other thing is, like, I like Dex Tools. I go to Dex Tools a lot.
It's a good one.
And Dex Tools will tell you if it's a honeypot right from the beginning. It will tell you if their code was audited. It'll tell you what the community thinks, kind of as a positive.
It'll highlight red flags in the audit if there are any.
Absolutely. Right? It'll tell you who audited them. And there are other ones. You don't have to use Dex Tools that I like, but I there's another one. I can't remember the name real off my head, but it's really good as well. And I'm just not as familiar with it, so I keep finding myself going back to Dex Tools. But there's some really fantastic places that you can go, not just doing your own research. They've done most of that good research for you.
Yep. Yeah, Dex Tools I can throw in an extra plug for, because those guys use Rivet. So
nice.
Good people over there.
That's excellent. Okay, so this was the last question.
Like looking at stuff. Like you have to, there's 10 comments, and they're all, this project is great. This project is going to change things. Nothing says, Xcash is awesome. I'm holding so much Xcash. If it's all this project, or it sounds weird, it's all fake, man. It's fake.
Oh, poorly written white papers is a good one too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I tell you all that I looked at a project that I got sent, and Nathan Fafilian was on the team?
Really?
Yeah. I was going over it. I was like, this is a scam. This looks like a total scam. And then I said, they have the team here, but like it was a guy's name, but it was a girl. And then this was a girl's name, but it was a guy. So this is a girl's name. It's obviously not. I was like, that's Nathan Fafilian. That's the captain of Serenity. What? Yeah, it was pretty funny.
That's awesome. That's pretty awesome. He was aiming to misbehave.
Back in the old days, I remember some that were fake people, and or if you remember, there were projects that would have stock image people as their team, and it was so
that was
ridiculous.
Good on the website.
Man. Okay, so now begins current events and memes. Correct.
All right, get your pen ready, SEC buddy. The
Get
secret
everything
message
ready.
back.
Yeah, we're gonna drop some little riddles for the government. No, I'm just joking. So what do we
Or are
start
we
with
kidding?
here? I have
Who knows?
a couple. So I'll start with these. So this is one of the kids that they're, and I don't know where it stands, but they're trying to get these kids. So these guys wrote the I guess something to trick the bots that were tricking unsuspecting people who were getting scammed, essentially, making and I don't know in what cases
But they
those
were
bots
front running
were
front runners, basically.
right. So they came in front, and so they go after these kids. What is up with that? And does anybody know where it stands? I don't know if they've just been charged. I don't know what.
I haven't heard about this one yet.
I don't know anything about this.
Apparently, they made 25 million right away, really quickly, because all these bots were triggered by one thing, and they went and
So they found a way to exploit the front runner bots to
Yep.
to create price movements that were favorable to them.
Yep.
Aha, it's clever.
I
And it also sings, I think, the praises of an unregulated free market to a certain degree, right? Because everybody looks at front runner bots and goes, "This is why we need regulation." But if you can make a front runner bot that screws all the people out to screw people, then what you've done is
And you
create a
put in
free
jail.
market solution to scamming.
Yeah, but then you put in
Right?
jail for 20 years.
Yeah. Oh, but I think the fact that these guys represented a free market solution to something the SEC felt they should be doing.
Good
point.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
They were a threat, because if this got popular, then they'd be like, oh, look at this. These guys were stealing from the thieves to make a gain themselves.
Yep.
That to me is, if I were running an agency that was designed to enforce against the things these guys got the bad guys for, I would be like, well, crap, we can't let that stand, right?
20 years.
This obviates the need for our service.
20 years. I think that I think they're all evil. Evil is triumphing here. I'm not putting it away for 20 years. I don't know if y'all know, but the SEC turned on Robinhood, and they're now coming after them.
Go figure. Although Robinhood's probably pretty safe because they were never selling crypto.
Though they had
crypto.
They allowed you to buy crypto, but they never let you take it off the exchange. So they were only ever selling derivatives.
Well, they're going after them for the crypto. But they should have never. They played ball with the GameStop thing when they made you couldn't sell. You could only buy, or only certain people could sell. So they tried to play ball with them. I think Trump tried to play ball at the end of with the intelligence community, with the military-industrial complex, and that's why he didn't pardon Julian Assange. And it's why he didn't.
Well, Ross Ulbricht, yeah.
I think he was trying to like, hey man, I'll give you this. Don't come after me for the election, and they screwed him. So I think the biggest thing. I heard this last night. This changes everything. And he said it. Trump said it. I didn't know about this. He said that he's going to bring back. Where is it? Agenda 47. He plans to invoke. Let me see. What was it called? That what's his name? I'm not a crook. He got rid of
Richard Nixon.
Yeah.
Huh. So what is it? Wait, like what precisely is it?
Because Nixon took us off the gold standard. Are you talking about that?
The impoundment. The executive order of impoundment. I can't. I'm like, okay, I didn't heard of it. But if y'all never heard of it, that's crazy. So here's how it works. And it's been around for forever. the president says can't spend over $1 trillion, and then Congress says we're doing this, we're going to send 165 billion to Ukraine. The president can say no, and that money goes into the treasury.
Huh.
He sets the limit on what Congress can spend, and people are saying
I did hear this. Yes.
People are saying, "Hey, but that gives them to it." It doesn't give him more power or the executive branch more power. I'm all for giving more power to every branch, as much power as they can handle, to curtail the other branches, not to grow anything, not more power in any way except to rein in other branches. I think that's the safest thing you could do. So this is unbelievably awesome that he can stop any kind of extra money going out. That basically it brings us back to where people had control over how much was spent. Now the president can only limit costs. They can't raise it. They can't do some. There's no more talking about if the government shuts down. It's like that's the limit. Anything more you get, it gets possessed and put into the treasury.
Highlight the sentence above that, Joe. Highlight the sentence above that.
This one?
Yes. So, in other words, the campaign said restoring impoundment will give the president more clout in budget negotiations, leading to better control of federal spending. It's almost like line item veto, almost. But it's going to go to the Supreme Court. It'll get fought there. But meanwhile, while it's going through that fight, the funds would be frozen.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Because the executive branch, they can write executive orders, which is how they can spend the money to do the things that the executives, which it's all running through that. There is no law, just so everybody knows that. I say it as often.
Yes.
There is no actual objective law. It's all arbitrary BS. And you can look at this one, right? You can look at, oh, geez, why did it pop that up? Give me a break. Okay, yeah, great X. This is so stupid.
They got Tricky Dicky to get rid of it when he was in trouble.
Oh, there it is. It's still popping up. It's so stupid.
Wow.
Anyway,
here's the article that the Epic Times went over.
Okay.
I put it in the private chat. I'll put it in the regular chat, but I don't know if it'll show up. So.
I don't have audio on it right now, but anyway, this is the other one. It was Tornado.
Yeah, Tornado Cash.
Open source people. God, what a pile of junk. X, give me a break. Sorry. These two devs, and was one of them been convicted? Is that correct?
Yeah. Well, in his home country.
Yeah.
Right. He wasn't in the United States yet.
Sad.
Yeah, it's
they wrote open source software. They didn't hide money. They didn't steal money. They put it out there and they were arrested. And I don't know. That's almost, I don't know. It's crazy. Whatever.
The crazy thing to me is, the Fourth Amendment implications of all of this, right? Like, if anybody has ever really closely looked at the Fourth Amendment, there's a clause that says you have the right to be secure in, right? And the right to be secure in clause is read today by the courts as being just kind of like extra verbiage, but in reality, if you look at what that means, from the perspective of the founders, they knew about encryption. They encrypted their own messages. Like the Vignette cipher was the official encryption of the Lewis and Clark expedition between Jefferson and Lewis and Clark, right? Like they understood the idea that that securing against searches and seizures was a thing that people had the right to do as well. and and that means privacy tools, right?
Yep.
So to me, this idea that that once the government has a reason to search or seize, that they are entitled to a success in that effort, is directly contradicted by the Fourth Amendment. And so this idea that privacy tools can be targeted for making it so that people can thwart that effort, in this country at least, we have constitutional protections in place designed to protect that. Right, we have the right to try to thwart searches and seizures, and we have the right to have tools that do that. So creating those tools can't be criminal. And to me, that's what drives me nuts about all this is like this idea that as soon as the authorities have a justifiable reason to go search or seize, that they're entitled to a success on that front. This strikes at the heart of the encryption debate itself.
It's the same as what someone else mentioned about gun laws. I mean, there are already laws existing, and if the principles were followed, you would. It's very obvious where to apply it in this world with crypto. Free speech still exists, and I don't know. It's crazy that because I manufacture a bread knife and someone kills someone with it. Am I liable? Like, no, it's to cut bread with, right? So
right.
Right.
The gun laws that you just said that is a very interesting thing. People don't know how bad the control is in other countries. So England, no guns, terrible knife crime. Like when there's like they got a picture of cops and they got 8 guns that they got from someone's house or so this arsenal of 8 guns. So funny. Anyway.
They arrest old ladies for having butter knives. I know that. So
well, yeah. See, that's okay. So I have a friend. He's a cop. He's in London. He's a super cop. Like he's done all these crazy stuff. He ran into a
No, he wears a cape, Joe.
Ran into a burning building, saved a bunch of babies. Most of them were black babies too, or dark skinned, so it was a bigger deal. He was like the Queen met with him. I mean, he's like super cop. And he posted something from his police precinct. They're like, got all these dangerous weapons off of the street, and it was kitchen knives, like 4 of them on a table, standing around it.
Awesome.
Like it was a bunch of coke and bombs, and there were some kitchen knives, and I thought it was a joke, but it's like that was a real news thing. And then
kitchen knives and flour in bags. Right?
Well, my
got to have a license to carry that Wusthof carving knife, man.
That's real. See, you're being funny, but that's real.
It's really
I know. I'm being facetious. I'm not being funny.
Asia, right? My kids go to Asia all the time.
Here's another one.
You can't buy a knife. You can't buy a kitchen knife without a serial number, and you have to register it with the government. Your
what the fuck is that?
They're making scam victims take selfies in order to get their money back. I guess some bank.
That's such bullshit.
What?
It's a bank.
That's a shaming punishment.
Yes.
That's not a court of law.
Crazy.
What's the picture that she's holding? What's it say? We don't know.
Revolut warned me this is likely a scam.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's
disgusting. So disgusting.
Yep.
But you guys say that, but how do you get KYC'd through? You do that.
Yep.
Right. Well, I mean,
all right.
Yeah, but
you
there's
do
a
that
difference
through
between holding up your
point.
driver's license and holding up a sign that says "I'm an idiot."
It's evil.
I don't know. Maybe it's the same
thing. Like we're all slaves, so whatever.
Yes.
If you use a bank, you're a slave to this guy.
It shows a deep,
I love that
disdain for regular people. Right? It shows a disdain for their intelligence. It shows a nauseating paternalism that makes you sick. Like
now we're into the memes. Just so you know, no offense meant to anyone. I'm just playing them as they come. I will skip some if I notice something. Right?
I got one Cuba, how about that? Run on the
Oh,
bank at Cuba.
yes.
Cuba has collapsed. Its banking system has collapsed. I think their only way they're going to save themselves is to institute CBDCs. So
There it
And
is.
wait
First
for
Cuba,
that
you,
to
Cuba,
happen
Cuba
90 miles
uses
off our
U.S.
shore.
dollars.
That seems like an
Remember-
appropriate place for a CBDC, a local tyranny.
The significance of that is that Cuba uses U.S. dollars. That's
Huh.
the other thing. So that
Right.
is knocking on our back door,
Wow.
front door.
Guessing
And
the
Canada's
FDIC just didn't
banks
bail
just
them out.
announced that they're warning of a crash as well. Canadian banks.
Has anybody followed up on whether or not the Fed backstop on banks was extended past March?
That's a good question.
Good
That is a
question.
good
To my
question.
knowledge, it was not. I was watching a
Interesting.
Jim Willie interview just the other day.
I wonder what the other bank of last resort has been doing business wise these days. I bet it's pretty high.
There's rumors that the FDIC is quietly bailing out banks of choice, even today, even currently.
That would not surprise me.
Yep.
Kind of picking the winners. And
There's
losers.
also there's some rumor on GameStop because so what's his name? Roaring Kitten, maybe? Is that right? Am I correct? I think that's
Mhm.
correct. Hadn't done anything for years, and he just came back on this week onto Twitter and posted a meme of a person sitting in an office chair and then leaning forward, and nothing else, no words, no mention. And
Interesting.
the Jay Clayton went on, I believe, CNBC, and said that he was, manipulating the market with this meme on Twitter, an image. And GameStop took off. It went up
Fed plant.
300%, something like this. And there's a rumor that there's some I guess deadline, something happening with the shorts that might be this week. I don't know if that's true or not, but it's an interesting.
It could be a big OPEX close. I haven't looked at the OPEX calendar.
Yeah, it was called Leap, long-term something or other, where they last a certain period and then that's it. But anyway, it's an interesting thing because I think those guys might be doing more potentially for Liberty than the crypto world right now, which is kind of crazy because they're I don't know, they're actually causing bank what is it? The Swiss bank, what is it? Credit Suisse that failed because it had taken on debt from another bank that was largely related to this, shorts related to this years back. Anyway, interesting stuff, right? What else is going on?
I got one. There's a rumor, and it's kind of percolating to the top, and some of you may have heard it. Well, we know that the media is slowly turning on Biden, even CNN. And we're kind of scratching our head saying, why is Trump agreeing or saying that he's going to expand the FBI by giving them the new building? And the rumor mill, shall we say, or conspiracy theory is Trump cut a deal with the Intel superstate and to win the election, to be granted the election and be given the election. And so they're done with Biden. They realize they probably couldn't beat him. So we'll go ahead and try to sequester him when he's in office.
It's so bad in the public eye when you can see 100,000 people there. And Biden had 19 or 20 people at a rally.
Right.
It's like they're trying their hardest, but people even dumb people, like the people they interview that are they're even those people are like, there was 11 people there. That ain't much. So even those people, they're like, oh, we can't fool anybody. We don't even need to try. Did you guys see the Oxford Union debate?
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah,
we'll see in the audience.
It was amazing.
Yeah, they're always good. Those debates are always good.
Yeah,
This is the one about populism, right?
Yeah, the populism. I didn't know that guy was the guitarist for Mumford and Sons.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was
I didn't either.
the guitarist for Mumford and Sons. But yeah, he
So he started his
Mumford taught his sons well,
he
apparently.
started his argument very quiet. It's like, and as it explodes at some point at the end, right?
Well, no, he was amazing. So Pelosi goes up there, and she's she's one step under Biden. She's old as shit. Plus, she sounds like she's drunk. Anyway, she's like Trump bad and this and this and democracy is under attack and blah blah blah. We're a good guy. Just like she was in America. Then she goes, and it's a fucking debate, woman. She sits down. This guy goes up there. Populism has always been good. Populism, blah, blah, blah. And then he keeps pointing, and then he brings up facts. He called Joe Biden, completely brain dead. And it's weird because it's British. It's like they're saying all common sense shit. And then he said he should have accepted the election in 2020. He shouldn't. Then he quoted him as peaceful and all that quote. And Hillary Clinton should have accepted it in 2016 when she said it was stolen. And Miss Pelosi right there should have accepted it when she said that the election was hijacked. And then she's like, well, but it was.
Yeah.
And he's like,
oh, that was beautiful.
There you go, And he like totally called her out, and she interrupted him, and it's like,
and made his point for her by interrupting him.
It was right when we did it. No, it was. And she said, no, well, it did. Yeah, it was hijacked. It was, but we accepted it. I mean, it was amazing. You should go listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I've not watched that one. But we have plenty of Gary Gensler as clown. We need more. We need more of those. Anybody has any? What else?
The Vatican is to hold a press conference today and release the report on supernatural findings. And this has not happened since 1978. So sometime today, that should be interesting to see what they're coming out with.
Wow.
So, another interesting one. Has anybody played around with some of the video generation AIs yet that are out there? Sora has not been released to the public, but there are competing ones. No. To your point about more Gary Gensler clowns, right? I tried to create a video off of a still photo of Gary the Clown that I made with the last round of image AIs, and it actually rejected me under the content thing, saying I was disparaging a public figure.
Oh no!
It would not let me do it. So we might have gotten to Gary with the Gary the Clown thing, which makes me smile. But
Gary's buddies in AI.
Yep.
Intel Super State is everywhere.
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
This is a great one here because it's true.
I love that one. Yeah.
Man.
I'm not Catholic. I was raised Catholic when I was young. My family's all Italian and Irish Catholic, so it's super Catholic. But my mom wanted to get a divorce when I was like, 2, and the Catholic Church wouldn't give it to her, so she's like, we're Methodist now. So, but I was raised. My family's all super Catholic. Anytime I stayed with them, I was around it, and the Pope was a bigger deal than he is now. But to be Catholic and to to see the Pope and to lose faith in the Vatican, it's a very to me it's very sobering on how it's falling apart.
Yeah, you seen the serpent room, right? And that freaking crazy thing behind him. That's what's supposed to be the I can't remember what event it's supposed to be, but it's pretty freaking creepy.
Yeah, it's creepy. Speaking of creepy, the King Charles painting.
Yes.
And I was telling you guys before we got started that either the day before or a couple of days before the unveiling of the picture and when he unveils the picture, it scared him. He pulled the cover off the picture and he goes,
Yeah,
oh, like this in the video. But just a few days before, he had transferred military power to his son. And that's a really weird video because his son looks like he's as tall as Barron Trump or something. I mean, he looks like a giant compared to his father. And I guess they said, oh, it's very rare to see the two together in video or photos or whatever. But
yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
I didn't see.
You wouldn't see
I
Kate
only saw
lately?
the two of them and like a military officer.
I was on a show. I don't know if it was me and Lisa this week or I was on something else, but I was talking about because everyone says that the king and queen are just figureheads. They're not any kind of real. There's no real power, and I always thought that's a lie, especially if you grow up in Europe. The aristocracy has a lot of control and power over the government and just people's regular lives, and they're like everybody knows who the baron is, who the prince is, who the count is, because they do stuff in the community, But I remember it was back with under Boris, and he was like asked the queen for permission. He had to go to the queen get permission to do this in Parliament, and I'm like, how are they not running stuff if he has to ask for permission? And then the queen like agreed to it, but everybody was pissed about it. It was something about the queen's speech or something. Anyway, I was watching it, and the like this MP said this goes against our unwritten constitution, and I talk about that all the time. And then I was like, unwritten constitution, that's funny. But then like the reporter said this does go against our unwritten constitution, and then like your average Joe on the street, it's like, oi, this goes against our unwritten constitution. And I was like, then I asked my cop friend, I'm like, do you think you have an unwritten constitution? He's like, we do. And I was like, dude, you know that's an oxymoron. It's not a constitution. It's not written. He goes, no, we have an unwritten constitution. I was like, okay, so did he just break it? Yeah, he broke our unwritten constitution. I was like, can you do anything? Well, we're mad about it. I'm like, yeah, but you can't do anything because it's unwritten. And but it really, I think that showed it validated for me how much power they actually have.
Yeah, they have power. I mean, they have power of some type anyway, right?
Well, the question is, what happens if they exercise it? Not so much as do they have it, but what happens if they exercise it? Right. To me, I think the line is when they exercise it against what the rest of the regime wants. Right. They can exercise that power all they want in service of the ends that they're supposed to preserve. But do they have power in the sense that they can use it and defy the establishment with it? The answer is no, right? Because they wouldn't retain that sovereign power for very, very long if they did.
Yeah.
So you'll only see royalty out in support of what the current thing is, not royalty out defying the current thing.
Yep.
And I watched just the and this is something that it's difficult, which I've talked to Lisa about. Whenever there's like a win for your side, but they're doing it wrong, when it's like they're breaking the Constitution, but they're like doing it to Antifa people, or they're doing it, you know what I mean? It's like,
yep, it's going right now on college campuses. That's
my point, man. It's like I totally disagree. They're totally stupid, and they're starting to call out, the like gays and queers for Hamas or for Palestine. It's like, dude, they would kill you. You know what I mean? But to see the thugs in Texas, the lineup of state police and everyone in riot gear going to beat the shit out of kids because they're protesting. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's so funny. BLM they didn't do that, but as soon as they're protesting Israel, it's like, holy crap, you
Yeah.
can't say this,
That's
and all
they're
the
setting
boomers will
things
come
on
out.
fire. They're keeping
TikTok.
back. They're in their face. You piece of shit, pig. But they're like, you know, they a lot of cops kneeled and like, we're
Yeah.
with you. And this
Yep.
Israel, it's like crack their fucking skull. You
Yep.
know?
Oh yeah, it's sort of like the difference between you know, the 2020s protests in front of the Washington courthouse versus those in the Capitol. Right? It's not the same thing in their minds.
Yeah. And then also, you know, the Capitol has been breached and attacked like 4 times. And it was never an insurrection, which Pelosi also said that, you know, at the Oxford Union. Because she was like, no, BLM and all the burning, that wasn't an insurrection. This was an insurrection. And Dan Crenshaw called it like it was like holy ground that they broke. And I was like, dude, that's just where you work.
Well, don't they all have passports, Israeli passports? Maybe it is. That's where they all hang out. You know?
It's true. They are all dual, aren't they?
I was told that.
Kind of a mess, really, right? Sorry, I'm still going through. There were way too many that were obviously offensive, so I did pull those.
This one is
supposedly there's going to be debates.
Oh yeah, I read about this.
Debate. Do you really think there's going to be a debate? Come on.
Hell no.
No.
They're gonna. So they've the terms are though, no studio audience, right?
Really?
So it's that
that's what Biden
so that's
wants.
all. Yeah, Biden wants no studio audience. They're not going to.
You better ask for no stairs.
Remember the good old days when the controversy was just about Al Gore needing the air conditioner set to like 65 degrees so he wouldn't sweat profusely. You remember those good old days?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Those were the good old days.
Yeah. Man. Now I'm showing some just crazy weird videos. So you think the Pope disappearing?
It's an anomaly, Joe.
I don't know. It's just funny.
That's the new word. That's the new word that they're trying to trick everyone.
Oh, there is supposed to be the Vatican's in some type of conference in order to describe some upcoming. I think they use the word anomaly as well, right?
Yeah, it's all an anomaly. You know, the Northern Lights recently. I'm sure you know that had nothing to do with playing a harp or something.
That was interesting. I believe Oh, I'm sorry, Lisa. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. I was just saying you're seeing that word anomaly a lot. Whether they're talking about the weather, the tornadoes going backwards, the northern lights that we're now seeing in southern parts of the United
tornadoes
States
going backwards. We had a violation of the Coriolis effect.
Well, no, the spinning was still going this way, but the tornado was moving.
That's
it
okay.
The direction of the tornado turned and went completely backwards. I mean, the weathermen were freaking out. They're like, I've never seen this before. This makes no sense. There's one tornado moving the correct way. The other one all of a sudden turns direction and goes back up. Yeah. It was an anomaly. Crazy. It's just an anomaly.
A black swan event, some would say, right? Yeah.
They're everywhere.
Man. Oh, here's a good one.
Everywhere. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
I want to talk about eyes like that.
That's horrible.
Where can I get eyes like that?
Yeah, that's in the news. I mean, last weekend was Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to everyone.
Yes.
Yes, mothers, and last weekend was nearly the end of the grid.
Right.
We were close. We were close.
Yep.
That sunspot you could see if you used your eclipse glasses. It was so big you could see it on the sun. I did.
Good thing it was pointed in a different direction, man. We only got the side blast.
Yeah. I'll tell you something that is actually what's the word I want? It is something that I learned in my career that multiple times when a team, it was never my team, by the way, when a team had made a big mistake and it wasn't very easily explained that, and I kid you not, and we would joke about it. It was so funny that it was sometimes blamed on sunspots or solar activity that's the reason some system went down.
Right.
It was
But that's
I'm
why the
not joking.
mempool dropped your
So funny.
transaction.
Remember,
Yes,
remember Fairly Odd
I don't know why
Parents?
Solana doesn't pick that one up. But
You remember Fairly Odd Parents? If you remember Fairly Odd Parents?
Oh yeah.
oh my
yeah.
gosh, yeah.
Come in, it's like, where did you get internet? All right, because they didn't know what, his parents didn't understand internet. Got an internet. Learn on internet. It's from the internet.
Oh man, no comment on this one. Here's a really good one. I don't know if I completely understand the pure context, but it doesn't matter. It's funny.
That's Gowron.
Who is it?
Glory to
Gal-
Gowron, leader of the
Gowron,
Clean
see.
Empire.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, yeah,
You,
I like it. Glory to you and your neighborhood. I
You
love
know, have y'all ever heard of the Oingo Boingo movie, Forbidden
it.
Zone?
No.
No,
Uh-uh.
that's the one you were talking about on Truth Tuesdays, right, or something?
Yeah. It's
Yeah, strange.
it's Scott Tattoo from Fantasy Island. He's King Faust. I think you should check it out.
Really?
it's very jarring.
We should
Very
have something like a
evil.
Siskel and Ebert segment every week where Sean will give us a movie related maybe to the subject, and we and see if we can give thumbs up or thumbs down, and then we'll all know what to watch.
Well, here's the thing.
That'd be
Here's what I talked about. So, Oingo Boingo did this movie. It's extremely evil. So much imagery. You won't believe it. You won't believe it. You'll be shocked. And this was 1979. Came out in 80, 79, something like that. But you know how they have to tell you what they're doing, what they're going to do. And I think this was a big part of showing what they're going to be doing to now. And I don't know if you know anything about Oingo Boingo, but the main guy from Oingo Boingo is Danny Elfman, who
Really?
yeah,
I didn't know that.
who is now in
Danny
control
Elfman's a
of like
hardcore
70%
musician, man.
of all movie scores, the music for all movies.
Wow. I think that's
John-
actually Zimmer now.
John
But-
Williams used to be John Williams and Zimmer, and now
Zimmer's
John Williams
best.
is getting old. Zimmer still does some.
I don't know. Elfman did the old Batman before, like when it was still Michael Keaton and all that, right?
Yeah, that's when he
And it was
started.
like,
That's when he started. Now,
okay,
Yeah.
oh look at it, dude. He does
Okay.
everything.
all right.
Well, you got
it's
to
good,
also
though.
include Trent Reznor in the movie scoring thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's like Zimmer. I will say anything he does is pretty amazing, but that'll pass as well. I'm sure.
Well, AI is going to take that over.
That's
Oh,
a
yeah.
good point.
It's going to be better at it too.
We watched Dune 2 last night. It was pretty good.
I like.
Oh, there you go. There's some news of the day. Who was it? The
Dune 2 makes me sad.
Slovakian prime minister was shot.
yeah.
yesterday,
Yeah.
and there was an attempt on an Irish politician as well yesterday. Now supposedly both
you
of
see
them
vigilantes out there cleaning up the streets.
Sheesh. Well, the Slovakian would say there's some definite, obvious, weird, Intel superstate stuff there. I think, but
Yeah.
because they don't like him. But
I think the big Z man in Ukraine something's going to happen to him.
you think?
Yep.
I could see that. Right?
He just
Oh,
built
here's
a
a
new
nice
home in
excellence right
Florida. That'll be
Did
a
he?
shame.
Which one? Because he already had one.
Oh,
And he
I
also
heard he
had the
just
one
built
in
one.
France.
He's gonna own all of it.
He had the one in France for 40. I think it's 45 million. The one in Florida was worth 10 or 15. No, no,
This is great. This is
It
on
was,
CNN.
Italy.
You see that poll?
Italy.
I think the numbers are dyslexic. I think that was much
Yeah.
higher.
I do too.
Hopefully.
But that 15% is pretty much you're done. It's like that. That's the whole thing. What is it? It was more than
More than
More than-
10, more than 12.
10%, and it's yeah.
Yeah, it's ironic that CNN would even put that on there.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
If they're putting on 15%, the number
Yeah.
has to be like crazy.
Right on. I don't know. We have 15 minutes left. You want to close out? What do you think? I'm running out of memes. I'm not sure how far I have.
Well, one other thing I was going to mention is Ukraine is falling. Instead of Russia advancing by meters, or now they're advancing by kilometers. Kharkov is about ready to fall, which is the second largest city in Ukraine. Who would have thunk? Come on. How many millions of people were in Ukraine versus how many millions in Russia?
Yeah.
And Russia, with all of its natural resources, unlimited supply, its GDP is growing significantly, practically debt-free.
Yep.
Very opposite to what we have here.
The ambassador to Israel shredded the UN Constitution and is walking away.
I thought it was interesting
Pretty significant.
that Netanyahu said, like he knew it. Like he's like, we pushed it as far as we can go with the U.S. Fine, we're gonna. He said Israel will stand alone, and we'll be just fine. He's like, U.S. got to do what it's got to do. We're good. So he's basically admitting to it and giving us the way out now. They can do horrible things, more horrible things, and then we're not involved.
Yeah. Yep. Man.
That would be.
Oh, and there was another barge.
Really?
Another barge hit a bridge in Galveston, Texas.
Imagine that.
Really? I did not hear about
that's
this.
Kind of trending.
Have you guys done any other horrible things in Texas recently? I know we have the red heifers, right? And we had the hate speech laws, and we had what else was there?
I have some good news.
Abbott's a Weffer. Abbott's a Weffer. That's all I can say.
I don't even know what that is. I'll have to look that up. All right.
Oklahoma just signed on Monday. They made it official that you can buy, sell, hold.
I had it up.
The governor signed it and made it like law. Run a node. And
that's great.
Something else in Oklahoma, and we're the first state to do so.
Run a node, and I don't know.
Buy, sell.
Nebraska also was one of them, right?
I'm assuming it applies to more than just Bitcoin nodes.
I need to read the actual law, but I hope so.
Whoa! Yeah, what was it? There's certain states. This is kind of a big deal that are going against the federal government, and they're saying that illegals are illegal.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
They'll be arrested and deported. Arkansas said that. I think Florida said it. So this is like we're in a cold civil war. When states are look at that, and dude, Texas was bad. I mean, their amount of cops, because it was Austin City cops, it was state troopers, Texas Rangers. They were full riot gear. Like it was scary.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Let me ask you all a question. Do you think state laws will trump CBDCs? I think you could have all 50 states say no CBDCs, but the Federal Reserve will still install it, and the normies will well, this is how I got to pay for my groceries.
Yep.
Well, the trick is the Uniform Commercial Code. Really, I think the states actually have a lot of power with respect to this, because the UCC can decide a lot of what's acceptable in commerce, which decides how the state courts treat disputes. And if it's outlawed and reflected as such in the Uniform Commercial Code, then you might actually see it be effective.
Well, there's millions of people right here where I live that are going to only have CBDCs. If you're in the military, they're going to pay you CBDCs. If you're a government employee, and then your families and everything else, everything around here will have to take it, or will go out of business.
They may have to exchange it into crypto first.
Well, and they might play that card. I cannot pretend to understand it because I'm not a banker. But the people who have a mortgage that they will basically, because apparently it's happened that they will essentially say you have to pay it off, or you're out of your house, and then they'll just accept the CBD. Or you could take this lovely new CBDC over here, and there's a free month in it already for you.
That's the point, Joe. Banks will say, "Oh yeah, that's fine. Your state can make CBDCs illegal, but we're going to only accept your mortgage payment in CBDCs."
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the
So
states
they'll create a market for both, but it will never be the exclusive if the UCC adopted by each of the states that outlaw it don't permit it. You'll just have to have one for certain transactions and something else for the other.
or your blue states will accept CBDCs and the red states won't, and that will bring more division in the nation.
Yeah,
and,
it'll be the fragmentation of all currencies is what it will be. It will mean,
which strengthens the BRICS, right? Now, what's the deal on the rumor that Russia was going to outlaw crypto?
I don't
Just
know.
rumor,
I
as
heard
far as I
rumors for a
understand.
while, but there's a BRICS crypto. Speaking of scams,
Yeah,
a friend of mine messaged me. She goes, "You think I should buy BRICS?" And
Yeah.
I'm like, "What?" They're having their meeting coming up, and then she sends me a link, and it's a BRICS crypto. It's you should look it up. It's like backed by gold and wheat and all these different all their actual resources.
Yeah.
Commodities.
This crypto. And I was like, well, it looks pretty speculative there.
Yeah. So sounds like somebody's taking advantage of your knowledge of the news.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Okay.
We should wrap it up so you can play a Dracaria video.
There you go.
Yes.
Okay. Who wants to go first? Lisa, what's going on this week?
Some good stuff. I had I Am for I Am join me on Monday. So if you guys haven't seen that, please go watch that. It's a great education that gives you an opportunity to take action in an alternative way, peaceful way. I'm so happy you're going to be joining me on some Mondays. And Sean and I had a great discussion on Tuesday. Please go check that out on both of our channels. And just rolling into a great weekend. Excited for what happens next. Down with the banksters.
Yes. I Am for I Am.
Well, if you want to be a miner and mine social media, there you go. You can do that on din.social. And I had a great time on Lisa's channel Monday. Looking forward to the next one. We hope that you'll all go to Lisa's Mighty Davis layer on din.social, and you can just like we do here at World Blockchain Roundtable, have an input on what you would like us to talk about. So go to din.social. Thanks, everybody.
Absolutely. Greg, what's going on this week?
All right. I'm going to take a moment and plug somebody who I'm not getting any sponsorship dollars from, but if you guys want to get some really awesome audiobooks from the dissident side of literature, read to you in some of the coolest AI voices that you could possibly imagine, then you need to check out Parker Banks's YouTube channel. This guy has everything from Mencius Moldbug to all of the, he's starting to develop a collection of all the Misesian economists, like Austrian economics. You can find anything on this channel that you're not supposed to hear, you're not supposed to read. Go check it out. It's awesome. I'm, for instance, right in the middle of Anarcho-Tyranny, which is a fantastic audiobook. So go check it out and become even more instilled with a dissident spirit.
Right on. Love it. Sean.
I'm trying to get some cool interviews on my channel with a couple of different influencers, especially ones that really censor themselves on their own channel, so I could let them cut loose a little bit. Uh, I on Truth Tuesday, there was something I wanted to go over, but I didn't. I don't think I had enough research on it. But it's on eugenics and how things are being used now, and they're doing stuff which would blow your mind at the things that are going on. And it's like, we had countries don't go to war. Well, big ones like us, we don't go to war anymore. We have races, and we had the space race, we had the arms race. There's all this stuff, and now, there's been like 5 bills put forth in Congress to just put a hold on AI and take a look at where we're going, where we've been, and they've all failed. And the reason they all failed is because, hey, China's not going to put a stop on it. Hey, Russia's not going to put a pause on it. So we have to get there quicker and bigger and stronger than them. We have an AI race against China and Russia, so it's not going to slow down. It's not going to stop because they're in control of it. The madmen who have been destroying the world for decades. But yeah, that's about it. So Truth Tuesday next week should be pretty good.
Right on. And for me, I would say make sure you get on X and follow Dracaria World. We're about to. I think in the next couple of weeks that we will start giving away the gateway keys, which will be the way you can initially spawn eggs. So get in there and you'll just have to read the white paper and answer some questions, enter in a drawing, and that type of stuff. It'll be fun.
Excited.
There'll be some really weird, interesting things too with the gateway keys that we didn't intend, but it just makes sense. I'm like, oh, let's do this. So pay attention to that. If you can, go to legalfund.dragonchain.com. We do need money to pay the lawyers. Like even the depositions are like $2,000 just to pay for the transcripts.
Jeez.
Stuff like that. So we're like, man, we keep getting hit by this stuff. Anyway, and I do not know yet if it's going to be live. It's going to be taped, but sometime later today, I'll still be wearing the same clothes. I'm supposed to be on BitBoy interview. So, and I think he wanted to look at the SEC case and stuff like that and help out, get some attention to it. So hopefully that goes well, and we'll it'll be fun either way. And he was on Open Source Money, so there's a bunch of stuff there too that maybe we'll talk about. I don't know. And cool. Otherwise, we're good on time. We have about 2.5 minutes left. So what should I play on the way out? I'll play so Free Ross, and then maybe the
Dracaria. Yeah.
Okay. All right. See you guys next week. Thanks a bunch. It was awesome.
Liberty is not a pill that makes men angels. What it does do is limit the extent to which evil can be expressed in the world.